Well, welcome to one of our quarterfinals here at GAME4PADEL in Melbourne. Now we do have number 1 seeds Marcella and Bo from the Netherlands versus Jess from Philippines and Yoshino from Japan. I'd like to welcome Rob here. My name is Lex and here's Rob.
Hey Lex, thanks for the warm welcome and nice introduction. And the Dutch skipping to a 40-love lead in this game, showing why they are highly favoured to take out this tournament. That's the first game to the Dutch pair to love. Always a nice way to start, Lex.
It's a great way to start, coming in nice and strong straight out of the gates.
Exactly. That's always the right way to start. But the Philippines girls, I thought, were holding their own in the rallies there.
Yeah, Jess did a good opportunity there. She is definitely getting good defence. But Yoshino, you can see that she likes to come to the net and plays a few volleys, so she's much more of an attacking player. So it'll be interesting to see how this dynamic works.
Yeah. Swapping ends now. Filipino girls to serve. Have you had a chance to see the Dutch pair much in Sydney and Melbourne?
Yeah, I was actually lucky enough to have a hitting session with them, and lovely people. Very genuine, and their ability is very high. So it was great to see and great to be a part of.
Excellent. Love one, still on serve, of course.
Now from this morning, the wind has died down, so creating a nice opportunity to do a few lobs. Nice forceful attack by Yoshino there, so 15 love.
I was talking to the Dutch pair earlier about what they were going to work on in the previous game, and they said getting to grips with the wind, and no sooner have they done that than the Melbourne weather has dropped the wind off for us. So as you said, not so much of a factor in this game. It can always pick up again, of course.
Yeah, and especially with the light as well, there's a lot more shade covering the entire court and centre, so it's a lot easier to play in. And we got both backhand players coming both to the net, trying to out-volley each other, and Netherlands won that point.
Yeah, excellent net play from both pairs, but forcing the mistake from the Filipino pair. 15-all.
Filipino and Japan player.
Filipino and Japan,
yeah.
Thanks for the correction. Oh, wow, that's an impressive smash there from Marcella, right?
Great smash out of the court. And with our courts, we unfortunately aren't allowed to run out, but it creates a different type of game compared to what people are used to. In the female world, it definitely happens, but more so in the males, and I feel like it's changing a few of the rallies and decision-making.
Yeah, that's a good call. Interesting rule for this particular tournament, not being able to run out. And the Dutch pair, I feel, are starting to get a little bit of dominance there, dominating the point at the net, keeping control of the net, and eventually forcing that mistake for 15-40. So 3 break points now, Lex, early on in the second game.
Yeah.
So it's a good start from the Dutch pair.
Yeah, they seem quite settled and already in tuned. I'm sure Philippines and Japan are just getting used to the different pace of what maybe they play with.
Yeah. Excellent defense there from Bo. Being pushed back, Marcellus with the Bajada.
Great strong stroke there.
Both pairs vying for control of the net with enterprising volleys and drives. That's the early break going the way of the Dutch pair. So these guys obviously play together. Alex, how much of an advantage do you think it is for these elite players playing together tournament after tournament, building up the chemistry, getting to know each other?
Chemistry is very important, but actually I found out in Sydney. So last tournament, in Sydney, it was the first tournament playing together.
Oh, wow.
So they've done a phenomenal job. Their connection you can see externally, and I think as well talking to them, they just do have a great connection. So it's really nice. But as you're saying, the chemistry is very important.
Yeah.
And especially communication, because if you're down, you want to build yourself back up and you want to rely on each other. And I think that's a great way, and they do it so well too.
Yeah, yeah. 15 love to the Dutch pair. 2-0 up already.
They're just making it hard for Jess and Yoshino to really settle themselves. They're not sure whether to come forward or back. A lot of the time one is up and one is at the back. So I think they might need to communicate a little bit to themselves to try and make it a bit more consistent, and they might be able to start developing good points.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good call, and we're also seeing a few errors from their side as well, which brings us to, I believe now, 40 love.
Now, as we go into the break, sorry, Rob, as we go into the break, I did ask the girls just before we started some interesting facts about them individually.
Ah, excellent. Do tell, Lex, do tell.
I did like how they kind of told each other the opposite person's fun fact. So Bo mentioned that Marcella's favorite restaurant is McDonald's.
Oh, fantastic.
So all your listeners out there,
right.
Nutritional in various ways, might not be
no
to the full extent.
from my side. Yeah, yeah.
No, I think I'll see her there later tonight. And then Bo, and actually I think Marcella as well said the same thing. When they endured their 21-hour journey all the way down to Down Under, both of them didn't watch a single episode of a show or a movie.
Wow.
Which I feel like is torture.
What were they doing for those 21 hours?
I hope they were sleeping, because that sounds like a very, very long journey to endure.
Well, that might explain why their chemistry is quite strong. Maybe they just sort of chatted and, you know, like got to know each other.
Strategy.
Wow, that is a long time to not even watch a show.
Yeah.
Love to know what airline it was.
It must have been very comfortable for them to do so.
Wow. Those are excellent fun facts. I have to show them the McDonald's in it's at Cremorne, you know, that drive-through. Come over the bridge.
Yes,
I often get stuck there many a Friday, Saturday, dipping into that drive-through.
Yes,
so
it's very easy to do so. I think we're all been there at several hours in the morning.
Wow, Lex, we should get some kind of sponsorship from McDonald's with that. With that sort of shout-out.
All right, we've got Jess to serve right now.
Jess to serve. Love 3. They'd really want to obviously get back into the set in this particular game. Some enterprising net play there, pinning the Dutch pair to the back of the court with some effective volleys.
A bit indecisive of who's going to get that middle ball, but Jess was warming up quite well to the forward. I just think, a little bit more communication, and they would have won that point.
Yep. The flight from the Philippines, of course, not 21 hours, so they didn't have 21 hours on the plane to chat properly.
No, that's right.
Love 15. It's unfortunate, those balls to the middle, isn't it, when you don't communicate who's going to take it.
Yeah, as you can see, Jess is being pushed back a little bit more. And the Netherlands have just come in and taken over the net and put a little bit of extra pressure on it.
Yep. Some early enterprising play to set up the point, but then, of course, as you said, the Dutch pair managing to turn defense into attack, and quickly that advantage is lost. Love 30 now. It's
still early games, though, that the Philippine and Japanese girls can come back from this, and they're just learning the nooks and crannies of how to play these well-established Netherlands team.
Excellent net play again from Yoshino and Jess. And forcing a rare error there, actually, from Marcellus, hitting that one long.
That was great teamwork there.
Yeah. Good to see them chatting between points, keeping their psychology pretty strong at this point.
They're giving Marcelo a lot of these balls.
Yeah, interesting. Not coming much Bo's way at the moment.
No, they might mix it up here. There we go.
Oh, but a fantastic volley down the line there from Bo. That really is the hallmark of an elite player, isn't it? Lex, that beautiful volley down the line.
Yeah, it was definitely a lovely shot there.
Still talking a lot between points, which is always good to see. The Filipino and Japanese pair. Bumping their fists, talking between points, looking for a way back into this set.
Oh, another unforced error there.
Yeah, a rare error there from Marcella. Second error of the game.
You can see that the Japanese and Philippine girls are chatting away, and Marcella's already ready to hit the next serve.
Yeah.
So yeah, good communication. Even when you're down, it's a good idea to always come back to your partner. Even if you don't have much to say, just tap each other, slow it down, get back into the rhythm, and look what they've already produced with Marcella's, unfortunately, 2 unforced errors.
Ooh, net cord
get
there.
there.
Oh, and she's done well, but not quite well enough to get the ball over the net. And that's a 4-0 lead now to the Dutch pair. We might ask Lex during the changeover, as an elite Aussie player, what you tend to do when you're down, how you get back into the match. You've touched on it already, but any psychological or other tips you have for when you're down and trying to get back into a match?
Yeah, as like I said prior, is just to come back together, even if it's not talking about anything to do with the game, just to slow the game down. But also, I think most people can identify with it with sporting or even life, is just come back to the basics.
Yep.
Really slow it down. If you need to hit a lot more in the middle, hit a lot more, or produce more lobs, depending on if you're outdoor, indoor, and what the scenario is. I just think the best way to do it is just to go back to basics.
Yeah. Excellent advice there from Lex, but then your advice to me on the court is to step in and smash it out. So you make an exception with me. You know, I need to be more aggressive, correct?
Well, during that time,
I need the basics and the aggression. I need everything.
That was good rhyme and reason, I think, because there was time when you were holding back, where you could have been closing the shot, and and seeing you play recently, you've been doing that. And you've been successful. So if you're successful, continue what you're doing well.
Keep going.
But if you're not, then you have to revert back to calming the situation down. But if you're on top and that shot is working for you, by going so close to the net and being on top of it, continue.
Keep going. Always good to get some free coaching from an elite player. But maybe it's not free. Maybe I should get you one of those supersized McDonald's meals in Cremorne.
No, it's free for me, but when I paid for it, I did pay for it.
Now this is very enterprising from the Filipino and Japanese pair now, but still not able to close out the point. With the Dutch pair just defending so effectively.
Yeah. They almost need to put something a little bit of extra on it, maybe a bit of extra spin. A lot of it, the shots are coming off flat, and so a nice pace, a nice height for the Dutch pair.
Yep. Domination of the net now from Bo and Marcella.
There we go. We've got a come on by Japanese.
Wow.
I love it.
That's excellent. They're really getting fired up now.
She is living down
under. Forcing a couple of
under.
errors. Forcing a couple of errors from the Dutch pair. First serve from Marcella into the net. Serving mostly to the glass on this Yarra Riverside, and a rare double fault there. Don't see that very often in paddle, and especially not from the elite players. Both serves just into the top of the net. Brings us to golden point, I believe. Pretty crucial golden point. They're all crucial. This one perhaps more than most.
Yeah, unfortunately with the points,
this is coming the way of the commentary team.
Make or break it, unfortunately, and lucky for the Netherlands team.
Yep. Bit lucky to get through that game. A couple of errors and then a rare double fault, but as is the case with these elite players, Lex, as you know, being one, when the crucial points come,
you find
a way to close it out. No.
I don't think I would call myself elite whatsoever. So you're too kind to say those lovely things.
Being very modest there. But Lex is a very good coach, actually. I will say that, absolutely. You've given me some excellent tips on my game. Hopefully I can do you justice in my next few matches.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, I did have some interesting facts about the other team now. So Jess, she told me that she used to house 30 chow chows at home at the one go.
Oh my goodness.
Now, me being an animal lover, I'm just thinking that's a good venture, but also maybe crazy too.
My goodness. Where does she find time for paddle?
No, she's lucky. Now, Yoshino Lovely player, and you could see that she is playing for Royal Padel, so that's her exciting little fun fact too. I see her in a lot of those shirts, so she's good promoting that. Now it'll be interesting to see for the next few games who they try and target in the Netherlands side, because I've got Marcella Coeck's ranking here, and she's currently a 69 in the world on FIP ranking. So she's a very successful player. We'll find out both shortly, but it'll be interesting to see how and where the Japanese and Philippine pair choose to select their shots.
Yeah, good call there, Alexi, with the ranking as well. Just trying to get a bit more dominance there on the net. The Filipino and Japanese pair, quite successfully, but the defense from the Dutch is outstanding. And they're just wresting control of that point, and indeed they do win that point with a error at the net from Yoshino. Just very tough when you're playing these top players, isn't it? Because the slightest error gets punished. Oh, great volley from Jess there, a tough one down the line. Didn't have much angle to work with there. Oh, and that's unlucky with Marcella's volley just drifting long. Can't really blame the wind for that one. There's no wind. But just slightly mishit that one. I think it's 15-all now.
Now, as you can see, Bo is definitely holding her own. As you would think, she's currently ranked at 178.
Wow.
Which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, great to see some top players coming for this Sydney and Melbourne tournaments.
Yeah, and see all these internationals. I believe in the Sydney tournament, and possibly this one, I have actually done the calculations, but you'll find that there's a lot more internationals from this year than they were last year, and if not, more internationals than some of the Aussie homegrown, which is nice to see.
It's good to see, yeah, getting more profile these events. It's an unfortunate error there from Yoshino. Just sending that bandeja into the bottom of the net. Bit of a shrug of the shoulders, making sure she's nice and light for this next point.
And not only that, it's fantastic to have the internationals down here, but for us locals as well, it's good practice, because we don't get too many internationals, especially highly ranked as these two Netherlands players, and to even just have a practice court with them side by side is a great practice, and yeah, great for our own skills.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Excellent rally here. Oh.
Jess was able to turn there, but not quite find the ball again. It was a lovely turn, but I think the power was a little bit too hard for her and a bit more in front.
This might bring us to golden point, I believe, and potentially a set point.
Yoshino has gone for a little bit more power. And Jess is holding a bit more on the defensive side, so we'll see what works. Oh, nice deep shot there.
Nice deep shot there, yeah. Great rally from both pairs here.
They're just trying to figure out how they both can get to the net, and all four of them are there now. And they've retreated it back.
Jess and Yoshino just trying to get control of that net.
This is one of the longest rallies we have, which is great to see. It's quite even on each side.
Yeah, we're coming up to probably 30 shots now in this rally. Oh, and that's unlucky. That's unlucky, and first set to the Dutch pair. 6-love, I believe that was.
Yeah, they've come out strong and now have continued that trend all the way through. Let's see if they can hold on to it, or let's see if the Japanese and Philippines pair can rock something here.
And for Jessica and Yoshino, what if there's a way back into the match, what do you think it is for them?
I think, yeah, still more communication about the middle. I think when they're both in the net, they're unsure of who's going to hit that middle ball shot. So I think they got to work together in that sense and communicate. But also when they are playing softer and getting more balls in, they're actually the rallies lasting longer. I wouldn't be surprised if they try something deep and into the corners, which is something they haven't tried too much yet. Trying to push and move the Netherlands team from one side to the middle to the other side and see how they go. They can always stick to that same player, but just trying something a little bit different to what they're doing now.
Yep.
I feel like their shots are quite repetitive in the same way, which is very good in paddle, which you want. But you might want to have some variation if that person is continuously getting back that same shot. So you might want to change it up.
Psychologically, how do you think they'd be feeling? It's tough to lose 6-0, but the Filipino and the Japanese pair, how do you think they'd be feeling psychologically?
Oh, I don't think they'll feel too dampened, because watching a few matches here, the men's and the women's, there are people who've come back from a donut to win it.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised with the mentality and psychological. They were just going to start with a fresh.
Yep.
Start with the basics to begin with, and then hopefully move up from there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're too suppressed. Don't forget, we do have a normal set as a third set if need be.
Yep.
It is only just the challenging golden points that could waver here and there. But if you get those, you never know what's going to happen.
Yep. Good call from Lex there. Always a way back, especially in paddle, right, where we know the momentum can shift quickly.
Now, we did just have a spectator too close to the fence, and kindly asked by Marcella to move while he was on his phone.
Very respectful there. None of the histrionics you sometimes see in tennis with spectators and players.
I think everyone just wants to strive and make sure everyone's doing well, and everyone gets caught up in it, which is fun to see.
Yeah, yeah. Serve down the tee there from Marcella, 15 love up. And a rare mistake there on that bandeja, sending it straight into the glass for 15 all.
Yeah,
you don't see that too often, do you? Especially with no wind really to factor in.
It was a nice deep lob by Yoshino, so I feel like pushing them back might be a way to break this pair down.
Good call, Lex. Very decisive, ruthless cut shot to the middle there from Bo. I feel that Yoshino anticipated it, but it was just too low for her to pick up there.
Yeah, that angle was a very, very cutthroat. So once again, a nice deep lob that pushes Marcella back, and Yoshino is able to grab the net. So it's good defense on her and slash attacking.
Got a high quality point here again, much like the last point of the first set. Coming up to about 20 shots now in this rally. And Bo and Marcella, when she gets a chance to finish, she finishes effectively. Often the hallmark of those elite players, right? Once they get that opportunity, they finish. Slightly shallow lob, you'd have to say, from Jess, but Marcella killing it with the smash for 40-15.
But it's nice to see a little battle between Yoshino and Marcella. And then, as you can see, she's gone to Bo now, which is a great change.
Yeah, and a very nice lob there, but equally from Bo. That's 3 consecutive pretty effective lobs. Bo at the middle of the... and unfortunately a mistake there from Yoshino. That's the first game of the second set to the Dutch pair. They take a 1-0 lead early in the second set. So virtually no wind now at all, Lex, which was a feature of the morning matches, but seems to have completely dropped off now. Both sets of players lobbing quite effectively.
Yeah, I think that definitely helps the lobs. You couldn't really predict where the wind was going or coming, so it was very challenging. But it's nice to see that it's calmed down a bit. It is a bit warm as well. It's stagnant air, so there's not much breeze, as Rob said, but it is quite warm in temperature.
Do you think the Australian conditions would be sort of a challenge for any of the players, or do you feel they're so elite that they play all around the world and they're used to it?
Oh, I would think, yeah, I would like to think that they would be fine with it. But again, the Aussie sun is very different to a lot of other countries. So it's a lot more harsher in its rays. But luckily we don't have a direct sun because we do have a lovely roof over our heads the whole time. So we understand that it's not going to be direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So I think capability-wise, I'm sure everyone is going to feel it, but also not get too scared from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love one now. Yoshino to serve. Fault on the first serve. They might want to look at their first serve percentages a little bit, try and improve on that. Unfortunately there from Jess, and showing a little bit of frustration because that bandeja was sent wide into the cage. She'd be disappointed with that error. That's definitely an unforced error. Good serve from Yoshino. Again, the Dutch
There's that
defending
deep ball in the corner. They are picking on Marcella quite a lot, which is great for like Bo. She's holding her own and her own. So, and then Marcella, as you know, that she's a well competent player and can handle all this.
Yeah, and a fantastic cross-court drive there from Bo. Just too good for Jess on that angle there. She didn't really have much chance with that volley, did she?
I guess maybe that's why Bo's unforced errors are slightly down, so they might be choosing to have a crack at Marcella, and they just did that one then. A change of pace is always good too, because before Yoshino was hitting them deep in the corner, and then all of a sudden that short lob, she was able to smash it, and unfortunately Marcella couldn't reach it.
Yep, change of pace. Good to see a little bit of aggression. Relatively low risk shot. Very effective smash. This time she goes for the bandeja. And now effective use of the lob. Both pairs have done that pretty effectively.
Oh, it's a lovely short lob right there, Marcella. She's playing it very nicely, that percentage ball.
Yeah, right at the feet there of Yoshino coming into the net. Difficult to pick that one up. And that brings us to 3 break points. Yoshino on serve. Bo looking pretty determined there. Returning. The Dutch pair again turning defense into attack as they've done all match. And unfortunately that forces an error from Jess to bring us to love. So have to say at this point, the Dutch pair pretty in control of this match. Lex 6-love, 2-love. We know things can change quickly. And it's good to see that Jess and Yoshino seem to be keeping their spirits up. Smiles on their faces, high fives, a couple of nods. Certainly not letting their heads drop, which is good to see.
Yeah, that's lovely to see, team spirit-wise.
And great smash there from Marcella. And Jess was almost there, but just couldn't quite get that ball over the net. 15-love to the Dutch pair with Bo serving. She'd be happy to be serving, wouldn't she, Lex? Because she's been frozen out of the game a little bit recently.
Yeah, she gets some action now.
At least when you serve, you're guaranteed to hit the ball.
Well, it's hard to get a return like that when it slices into the bottom of the glass and cuts right back down. I mean, Bo is playing very well. Yeah. She's playing very calculated.
Yeah. Strategic shot and also hit with a lot of underspin. Hard to get that one back. And they've used that shot to the middle quite effectively.
And with Marcella's height like that, she can just bang it down when she needs to. That was a great smash. Unfortunately, a little bit of a short lob. But, you know, happens when you play a 69 in the world that it just, unfortunately, does not come back the way you want it.
Yes, I've definitely been there. What I thought was a good lob has disappeared into the Yarra River. Many occasions against the elite players here, Lex. And that's why I'm coming to you for some more coaching soon. So let me know your rates and we'll get that set up.
I'm always happy to help. So anything I learn, I'm happy to share. And hopefully it works for some people.
3-love lead now to Marcella and Bo, looking pretty confident in this quarterfinal. And Yoshino and Jess, not sure. Might be time to try something different.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what that different necessarily looks like. Don't know if you have any, if you were their coach at this point. If you'd have any thoughts, or would it be more around the moving them around, setting up the point better, cutting the mistakes, those sorts of areas?
Yeah, I think the Netherlands are targeting a lot of the middle, which is kind of making the other two very undecisive of who's going to get the ball. But a lot of Marcella's lobs are actually on Jess's backhand side, which Jess is getting, and probably the ideal shot at that time. I think they just got to figure out their positioning. I think the Japanese and Philippine pair are just getting separated too much from each other. And it's creating a lot of space for the Netherlands to counterattack on. So I feel like if Jess either decides to stay up with Yoshino, or maybe even not right up to the net, but maybe a couple of steps back, because what's happening is I think Jess is getting lobbed a little bit too much and struggling to get that ball back down. I think if she just decides to give herself a bit more space in that sense of not approaching the net too close, she might be setting herself up a little bit better.
You heard it first here, folks, from Alexia Daly. The way the Japanese and Philippines pair can get back into this match. Let's see if they can actually put into practice what Lex has just advised they do. Certainly able to take the net for this first point of the fourth game. But again, getting lobbed, and not much you can do about that. Again, Marcella slamming a smash back, returning on her side of the net. Yoshino scampered for it. We've all been there, but just about a meter or two away from her reach, unfortunately. But you have to admire their fight, Lex. They're really not giving this one away at all.
No, most definitely not. And that's what you want to see in every competitor.
Dutch pair moving them around very effectively. And it's not hard to see why Marcella is ranked 69 in the world with those sorts of skills, just moving her opponents around seemingly at will. Jess on serve now, resplendent in her Filipino national kit. Good to see.
And I believe Bo, just that one there, nice forehand winner down cross court. It is, yeah, she seems like she's seeing the ball like a watermelon. She's hitting them so well.
It's a lovely, lovely position to be in. Doesn't often happen for me, but lovely situation to be in.
See, I just want that gap a little bit closer for the Filipino and Japanese team. I feel like they're just separating themselves too much, opening such a sparse area.
Yeah, that's a good call. The Dutch pair able to really exploit that gap down the middle, and that brings them to a 4-0 lead to go with their 6-0 lead in the first set. And they're just having a bit of a chat, perhaps wondering what shows they should watch on the return flight home. Marcella serving to the tee, and Bo with that bandeja sending it wide, almost a vibra there, and that's gone wide. So love 15.
I love how countries say different things. Now, we obviously try and respect the language which it came from, but sometimes it's harder to say the proper way when you don't have the rolling of the R's being taught to you. So when I first started, I used to call it a vibora. And bandeja, like very Aussie. So apologies to everyone out there if I'm saying it wrong, but I definitely will try and change the way I say it to how you say it, which is so much better.
Well, you've probably got the terminology right. I wouldn't trust necessarily what I'm saying, or even if I'm describing the correct shot, to be quite honest, Lex. But you know, we live in hope. We live in hope. Can always get better. Oh, now that's an interesting one. Popped it off the top of the fence and back in, and I had a furious argument with a friend of mine last week who claimed that that was in. But it seems that he's wrong, because the point has gone to the Dutch.
We won't name names, though.
No names. But he was very certain that he was right. Oh, that's an incredible...
Yeah, it did look like she won that point. It was a very tough call. I think Marcella thought she hit the ball into the ground first, but I believe she got it over.
Ah, so that's the point to Marcella?
No, I believe Jess.
Jess, yeah.
But I could be wrong. It's hard to see from back here, so...
Break point now, I believe we're at. To the Filipino Japanese pair.
That's better approach from Jess. That's good. Stay in there. Come across a little bit more. Oh, unlucky.
Extremely unlucky there, and I think that's brought us to golden point as we see the Japanese and Filipino pair deciding, and it's Yoshino who is going to take this golden point. This is the difference between 5-0 to the Dutch or 4-1 to the Dutch. This point crucial, and the Dutch pair taking control of the net, sending it down the middle as they've done all match really. Effective lob from Yoshino. Jess with the bandeja and an effective lob, but the Dutch putting a lot of pressure to take the net again. Another outstanding rally feature of this match. And the Dutch just keeping control of the net, waiting for a chance to finish, and they do finish by hitting a very aggressive bandeja straight at Jess.
Yeah, unfortunately
It's
did hit her.
unfortunate, but it's actually a very effective shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
In paddle to hit it at the player, and it's enough for them to bring up a 5-0 lead. Interesting how the goal, when you're down 6-love, 4-love, the golden points tend to go against you. Isn't that an interesting, or is that just my perception? Feels like that's the way it goes.
No, unfortunately, we've all been there, and we all will continue to be there.
But in my case, it just gives me a lot of great excuses, you know, when I finish playing and I've lost, you know, 6-love, 6-1. I'm like, if only I'd got those golden points, Lex, you know? I swear, and I just tell all my friends, it was 13 golden points and I lost all of them. How unlucky am I?
Yeah.
You know?
The maths as well.
And if then, the maths is off. And even if they're not paddle players, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So I don't even know why I'm making excuses to my friends. But you can always blame the golden points, can't you, Lex? Or is it just me?
No. I think a lot of us revert to that because the score might not show what we really wanted to happen.
Yeah, but I do feel it is the case that if, you know, obviously if a team is slightly stronger than the other, they will tend to edge the golden points. I mean, it's not exactly, not rocket science. It's just on those key points, they probably play them a little bit better. And there's always that old saying from Gary Player, you know, the more I practice, the luckier I get. Famous golfer. So the top players probably do get a little bit more luck. Anyway, I'll wait. I'll do my PhD on paddle golden points, and then I'll send you the thesis in about 4 years' time.
But they also say that you got to make your own luck
That's
too.
true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how true that is, but in their case, you need to make your own luck. And I think just with the well-established team of, well, only for 2 tournaments so far, the Netherlands, and who have been competing for so long, that they're pretty good in that sense, and they know where to hit the ball.
Yeah.
And in generally what I've been taught, which I don't know how true it is, but I kind of agree with it, that you don't want to play too safe. You still want to go for your shots, but a lot of down the middle will give you that safety, but you can play your shots too.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good choice when you are playing a golden point. Get your first serves in, and if you need to, commit to the middle a little bit more.
There's Lex, our high-performance paddle coach. Contact her for lessons and psychological training in how to handle golden points. I'll be your first client.
Or do the complete opposite of what I say, and you also probably do well.
Now, this is excellent here from Jess and Yoshino. They've really got fired up in this game. And just a touch more aggression, I would say. 5% more aggression.
And they've moved it over to Bo as well, a little bit more.
Yeah, change of direction and just a touch more intent. You know, obviously 6-love, 5-love, not much to lose at this point. Nice serve down the tee. Just, you can see Yoshino just taking that extra step. What you tell me to do all the time, Lex, an extra step to the net, and it brings them to 40-love. And it's working for them so far in this game, that extra intent. And there's nothing like being 6-love, 5-love down to sort of force a little bit of a change of approach. Unfortunately, that volley's gone long.
A little bit too hard.
Yeah, and maybe that is a little bit of a byproduct of the more proactive, more intentional approach. Some errors can creep in, but nothing to lose with trying something different. And we're seeing that again. Unfortunately, the Dutch are so good at defending.
Yeah, Yoshino does very well when she stays low with the ball as well. I think that last shot that hit the back wall, unfortunately she popped up a little bit, making a little bit high trajectory. But if she stayed down low with the ball and moving forward, they're getting those nice undercuts, and just made one before as well.
Yeah, they've stepped it up in this game, but it still is only 40-30 because the Dutch have also responded to the challenge by upping their game a little bit, I feel, in the last 2 points. Still 40-30 though, and they'd be very happy to obviously get this one game back. More aggression from Yoshino, and there we go. They get the game. And well deserved, I think. Very well deserved there.
Yeah, it's nice when you're losing at this and you get a game, but you earned it. You deserved it. It feels so much nicer. It brings up your spirits. Who knows what can happen right now?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Plenty of time. There is no time. You have all the time in the world.
And that will give them a little bit of a sort of a fillip as they approach the first point of the 7th game. Taking the net. Yep, they're a little bit... Exactly what you said, Lex. They're closing that gap better. Unfortunately, they're just facing some outstanding shots. That from Bo was pushing Yoshina right to the corner. A bit of a wry smile from Yoshina because I think she realized not much she can do once you're sort of marooned in that back corner and it's coming off the glass with backspin and dying. Bo serving mostly to the glass from this side I've seen today. Excellent lob from Yoshina. Jess with the bandeja, taking the net again. Trying to close that gap. Effective lobs from both sets of pairs down the middle from the Dutch.
There's that change of pace as well, which Yoshina's been able to cover quite well, but unfortunately he's a bit too flat in the next shot.
Again, wry smile. She's showing us she's got a little bit too close to her with the volley, but I think the wry smile is coming because she's actually done her best there.
Oh, unfortunate there.
And that is...
I believe it's 40-15.
Yeah, 40-15, I believe. The players equally as confused about the
They're not sure if it was 30 love and they just served to Yoshino twice.
I believe 40-15.
Yeah, I feel like it's 40-15.
So 3 match points for the Dutch pair. Marcella at the net with a very relaxed smile. They know they've put themselves in an excellent position. Unfortunately, she's dumped that smash. Bit of a skip from Yoshina. She knows that those kind of errors can bring you back in the match. You still need a couple more points here to get back. Great return to serve. Opportunity for a Bajada. Yoshina.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But what a lovely game by the Netherlands. A well-deserved win. And Jess and Yoshina did put up a good fight.
They did. They did, and I think they had an opportunity there, perhaps closing the gap at the net and showing a little bit more intent and proactivity came a little too late for them to get back into the match. If they'd had you courtside, Lex, at the end of the first set, I think they could have turned it around a little bit quicker. But by the time, you know, the message got from you to them through the internet and the world, you know, like went through many layers of communication, eventually got to them a bit too late, I think.
Who knows? They would have their own strategy, and I'm sure they'll talk it through. But good on them for getting to the quarterfinals here at Melbourne. FIP, silver.
And the Dutch would be looking to go at least 1 or 2 better from last week. I know they were a bit disappointed to lose out in the semi in Sydney in a hard-fought 3-set match against Carla and Nerea from Spain and Melbourne. So they'd be sort of targeting that semi and hoping to at least go 1 better, if not take out the trophy this time.
Yeah, and we do have a few more quarterfinals happening right now, and I believe in this next match here, we don't know who's coming up, but we'll believe it'll be a fantastic match. Most likely another quarterfinals, whether it's men's or women's. But stay tuned because it will be a very great match in showcasing international and possibly Australian players as well, depending on who's on. It could be even 2 Australians. At some point, they're going to verse each other.
That will be exciting.
Very exciting matches.
Cool. Well, lovely to commentate with you, Lex. Hopefully we can do it again soon, and we might take a little break and be back for the next one.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Rob.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'd love you to do the scoring.
I can, if it's helpful,
You don't
I
mind?
can do the scoring. Yeah, yeah. Let's grab another chair.
Some of this Red Bull stuff here. Was that Rob's? Don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Is there anything in it?
Maybe, yeah.
Might be Rob's.
We have Sergio and Pablo, Roberto and Vic at the quarterfinal, please.
Need to find a link for this match. Put up on live somehow. Oh, is that it there? Is it my phone? Does that feel there? With the wrong names on it?
Yes,
Should we need Max? We need
Rob's coming back to do it.
we need the name. Oh, do you have the name?
I don't know. Yeah, Rob must know.
say that surname, do you reckon, Rob?
Chauvel.
Again?
How do you say?
I would go Chauvel.
Chauvel. So we're just gonna report it.
Yeah. And then I think we just, yeah, you get it. So I just press.
Let's just get this going here. We'll get live in a second. Yeah, we're good. Sweet. Any chance in the world we're not live over now? What's this on?
We have to check the max. I'll check the max.
Charge it in the back of your shed roller.
I believe it's on double.
Rob, do me one favour. Would you ask just to pop for a charge somewhere in the back of the shed or something? Some shit over there?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Ginger beer for myself and water for you.
Test 1, 2, 2.
Chauvel.
Chauvel. Yep.
ChatGPT.
And are we?
Apparently, according to Max, they're on, yeah. They're on.
Welcome back live to the quarterfinals of the Melbourne Padel Open here in beautiful Melbourne on the Yarra River. We've got a cracking match ahead of us. It's Matty Burrell here with co-commentator Rob Daly. Hello, Rob. How are we?
Hello, Matty. Yeah, we're going well, mate. It's yeah, beautiful day here in Melbourne. The wind's just dropped, which will make some pretty good paddle this afternoon. And yeah, great match ahead. We had a big win this morning by Sam and Jonas, taking out Pat and Marius. So be good to see how they go against yeah, Bichard and Chauvel this afternoon.
Should be interesting. We're having a little chat before to Jonas. What a great matchup, him taking on Paddy Rafter. Great for Padel, great for the sport, great for each other, winning the Grand Slam here 26 years ago at the Aussie Open, doubles pairs together. They're a masterclass in dinking balls back and forth and really working those angles around the net. There's probably no two better players on the main tour that could work a ball around as well as those two, I reckon. Rob?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, mate. They're Pat in particular, having only played for 2 years, 18 months. He's the way he's picked it up is pretty incredible, and his first tournament on the right side as well. After playing all on the left, that's an amazing adjustment, and to beat the top seeds in the first round, and then obviously push a very, very good pair. Jonas has played paddle for a lot longer than Pat, and obviously an incredibly accomplished tennis player as well. So it's been a good day here so far, and we're looking forward to this afternoon and quarterfinals on all the courts at the moment. Very exciting.
Also, another little tidbit of information. Jonas' son did win that match earlier on today. Max Bjorkman took out the number 5 or 6 seeds, was it? 6 or 7 seeds?
Yeah, the second seeds,
second
actually,
seed, sorry,
the French pair.
French pair, yep. So it's a national holiday here in Bjorkman Town. He'll be back live with the commencement of play here. Just to run you through, we've got Don Burchard, who's always hovering around number 1 or 2 in the top players lounge, if you like, from an Aussie team perspective, heading off to Spain, not too distant future, for 3 or 6 months or so. Sam just cracking that out with the new balls. Max looking a bit confused out there. Max is also known as his partner Max from Finland, 11-time Finnish champion. We joke around a fair bit about that, talking that, but once you've won, 5, you may as well have won 11 or 15. He's won basically everything since he started playing. He's 38 years old, and which would make him an older player, except that we've got Jonas Bjorkman on the court on the other side playing with younger Sammy Ashton. So Dom would be the young pup on the court here, and then Max would be considered experienced, I'd imagine.
Absolutely, it's it's good for us older players, Matty. That bit of hope ahead. Watching the old guys compete so well.
Sam just closing early on there, getting into a positive frame of mind, which is good to see from Sam. He's a confidence player. You've played with Sam yourself, Rob. Played some Masters events together with Sammy. Dom's not old enough, obviously, for that yet. Got to be 35 plus, but absolute great bloke and a bit of a superstar around the Western Australian region in tennis and padel.
Yeah, absolutely. Still performing at a pretty high level in tennis as well. Still playing state league in Perth, which is a very, very high level. Managing to balance both tennis and paddle, and yeah, Sam just keeps getting better and better as well. He's still pretty baby faced there, but he is 35 and very deceiving type of player.
Great volley there from Max, the golden wrist. That's why they call him the golden wrist, Rob. Can flick the ball around. He flicked the first return, got a forehand serve, flicked that back behind Bjorkman. No chance of Bjorkman missing that volley, though. He's seen that for the past 52 years, I'd imagine. He's come out of the womb with a racket in his hand. So that's not going to phase him at all, golden wristing around. But here we go. We're in for a good treat here. Some of the other matches on at the same time, which you should probably mention as well. Just saw a ladies' match recently. The Dutch got up, Bo and Marcel, in straight sets over one of the top Japanese players, actually, and Jess from the Philippines, Jess Agra. Great match to watch.
Looks like the ladies' draw probably going to plan so far. The top 4 seeds progressing through, and very, very strong pairs as well. So I think we're in for a treat tomorrow on the women's side of the draw with the semi-finals.
Such a high level, isn't it, Rob? We haven't seen those on our shores before, have we?
Not at all, no. This is, last year we had some great paddle. We had a couple of very good pairs in both the men's and women's side, but this is a big step up. I think probably the final last year we thought it couldn't get much better, but that's I think there's probably some matches on court at the moment that are at least that level, if not a little bit higher, which is fantastic and great for local players to be able to get a bit of exposure to this level of paddle, and particularly some of the Spanish pairs, just the way they go about their business. It's pretty special for a country that's so new to the sport. It's good to witness it, and great to have the opportunity to play against them.
Just seeing Max there again, just absolutely savaging that forehand volley, which he cuts down on with rapid pace.
It's been a strong start from Dom and Max. They got the early break and looking pretty sharp, but as we found out in the last match, they're difficult to put away, Sam and Jonas.
Nice lob from Max. Dom with a Bahada. Again, no chance going through Jonas. Wow.
It's well played. Good hands from Jonas, but yeah, very much in control at the moment, Max. Playing some very solid paddle.
I think Max would probably know Jonas from the not too distant neighbours, being Finland and Sweden.
I would say he's heard of him, that's for sure. Jonas has had a pretty decorated tennis career. There wouldn't be too many better players from Sweden over the past couple of decades. The 6-time Grand Slam champion.
Davis Cup champion.
Davis, yeah, multiple times. I think 5 times they might have got the Davis Cup. It's incredibly impressive, and obviously a couple of Australian Opens as well. One with Pat. Yeah, was an incredible player, and he's made the transition pretty impressively.
Yeah, he's been playing Padel for a long time too, Rob. He's been around for I'd say about 12 years now, 13 years. He's been playing Padel, so he's seen all the tricks of that. And of course, being the coach of the national Swedish team, you could consider him an expert now in this sport, beyond his expertise in tennis already.
For sure, and they had a good performance in the World Championships in Qatar earlier, or in 2024. I think they finished 9th overall, but really pushed the UAE team in the group phase, and UAE had a few Spanish imports in there, which might have been a little bit of controversy around, but they were exceptional players, and
they were. That's worked out well, I think, accidentally well for the Asian Pacific Middle East region, if you like, based on the fact that they came 5th, the UAE team, in the World Championships, which opens up more spots potentially if we end up with more spots in the World Cup. So it might move from 16 to 24 teams. Then you look back at performances of the regions to allocate more spots, and UAE coming in at 5th, which is an incredible result for any team in the Asia Pacific Middle East region, may open up some more spots for our region there. So shout out to the FIP reps out there.
Absolutely, yeah, it's pretty cutthroat at the moment. Just the one space for a pretty large region, and definitely some emerging paddle countries there as well. Although I think I did actually get that mistake, and I think Sweden did. It was Portugal that they pushed to the wire in the group stage, and Portugal went on to finish 3rd. So shows the depth in Sweden, and obviously shows Jonas's capacity as a coach as well as a player.
His son's just outside the Swedish team right now, but I'd say after his big result here, which would very much help him in his FIP rankings, he'd be pushing, which is what all the teams go on, the FIP rankings and the local rankings from the paddle tour, their local paddle tour. That would put him in good stead, I'd imagine.
I'd say so. He'd be knocking on the door, and he's very young, and it's always good to get some young players into those squads as well, give them the experience at World Championships. And no, they're doing very well at the sport. The Swedes, they're very impressive, and you'd imagine a bit of that's also carrying over to Finland, where Max is from. So you'd think the whole Scandinavian region would be getting a lot stronger at the sport, and it's great to see that global growth. Just a lot of countries that maybe have had some good tennis players over the years, but might not have had the top level. like Finland. There's been some really good tennis players from Finland, but it'd be nice to see them progress in the sport of paddle as well.
It tends to work well in those regions, Rob, because as you can imagine, it's fairly cool 9 months of the year there. Sun comes out, not much in winter, so it's a bit of an indoor sport. Padel, you can pack in more paddle courts than you can tennis courts indoor, obviously. So that's where it really took off through COVID there in Sweden, Finland, Norway, all the Nordic countries. So they got a sort of a leg up in the arms race, if you like, in terms of sport, and this sport particularly in Padel, which has got them a head start. With more courts, more clubs, you get more players, obviously, and that's where your talent pool develops. So they've got a larger talent pool to come from, and they've always been naturally gifted athletes. The Vikings, you can imagine.
They have, yeah. So and I think they probably, from what I see, looks like they're investing pretty heavily in youth and in the kids' development in the game, which is probably something we need to start focusing on in Australia. That's probably
We certainly do.
the gap for the moment, where you and I, bunch of gentlemen around the 50-year mark, we're probably not the future. So I think we could probably take a leaf out of their book and start looking at a bit more junior development and what we can do at that stage, and see if that can help spark the growth of the game in Australia.
We definitely do need that. That is a future, Rob, and we've got a large gap there. It's been identified. It's obvious as well. Or just look at our national team level. We do well in the Masters because we've got an older nation of players here. Just watching Pat Raft and Jonas Bjorkman getting to this level in this sort of tournament is a good example of that. So we started a bit late here in Australia. Naturally, people come from tennis. Wow, look at Max whipping that off the back there. There's that wrist in action.
It's a famous wrist. Very impressive.
I noticed Dom's hitting the ball really slow at the moment, just slowing it all down.
Obviously, Dom and Sam pretty familiar with each other's games, having played on the Australian Paddle Tour and in the national team for quite a while. They're a fantastic pair, and not playing together in this one because of the opportunity to play with some great international players, but I'm sure they'll be suiting up again at some stage during the year.
They'll be suiting up again, probably next for the national team Asian Cup, which is rumoured to be in Saudi Arabia around October potentially. There's Dom with that massive smash. Although Jonas have taken care of that in the slower courts. Sam with a little lob. Sam with a nice little vibora. Dom again keeping it slow. He's got a nice style about him, doesn't he, Dom?
He does, very relaxed.
Very relaxed. We call him Picasso. He calls himself Picasso, which we've all adopted as his stage name in Padel. And you just don't know where he's going to paint the brush. Could come out pink, it could come out blue. We don't know he doesn't know himself, I don't think, half the time. But he's got a natural talent. That came from the original coach, Harvey, who was trying to coach him in the Aussie team. And we asked him how he was going to develop young Dom moving into Padel from tennis, obviously a natural talent. And he said, look, there's just no point. When Picasso paints, he paints, you the same paint. And that's that. So you could see it again just then.
There it is, great touch. And yeah, Dom, a very good junior tennis player. So he played a lot with Max Purcell and a couple of other guys that are performing very well on the tour at the moment, doubles and singles. So he's clearly got a lot of talent there.
He does. Not a bad brain either. He's a real thinker, Dom. He works in IT consulting full-time, so this, like most Australians, this is not our full-time sport. In fact, I don't think any players, Tim Brown Paddle might be the only one I can think of that does some personal training as well, but takes this as an almost full-time, I'd call that 3/4 time with Timmy, I'd imagine, job. Yeah. The rest have normal jobs during the day and don their paddle capes at night to suit up, Superman style, but yeah.
Also probably worth mentioning with Dom, he's living in Brisbane and no paddle clubs in Brisbane, despite it being a city of a couple of million people. We're hoping, well, it's sort
imminent, isn't it?
Very imminent, yeah. We should have at least one club opening up in Brisbane early this year, which would be great. And a phenomenal effort from Dom to get to the level that he's got to when he's got to travel a good hour and a half just to play the game. Not too many other competitors in this tournament would have to travel for an hour and a half just for a hit of paddle. So yeah, it's definitely credit to him and shows the talent that he's got.
It's probably why he's heading over to Spain soon, I'd imagine, to get some regular action. But shout out to Gareth and boys out there, Craig and Dan, who are setting up the Brisbane club. Should be open the next couple of weeks, I hear.
Yeah, matter of weeks. That'll be fantastic. It's a
the
great
sport.
city. It's a great tennis city, Brisbane.
Massive talent there, huh? There's that
Yeah.
wrist again.
You
You see that?
It is an impressive wrist.
He's flicked that from behind him. I don't know how that even works physically or metaphorically. I don't know what I can say about that biologically. Somehow he flicked that from. Anyway, yeah, we'll get that on replay later on to see how that works.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know Max's background, but whether he's had a tennis career or whether he's come from a different background or just a pure paddle player. But yeah, that flick of the wrist is
It's
maybe a
real.
little bit.
The dream is real. I think that does happen. You can just see it all.
It is. It's a bit foreign to some of us tennis players as well, so it's pretty impressive. But we got 3 break points here as well, Matty. 3-1, love 40. The Jonas and Sam in a little bit of trouble to start with. Dom and Max, and Max's wrist all
there it is
all very
again.
impressive out the gate.
Oh, almost flicked it again. He goes all 3 directions from there, doesn't he, Rob? He drives that line. He goes a bit harder middle, then he can just flick it cross court. Sammy's got to really keep an eye on that, on the net there.
It is, and it's difficult to play against when you're playing someone that can leave the shot so late and then change directions. It's you sort of, again, making the comparison to tennis a little bit too often here, but it's not something you see a lot on a tennis court. So a lot
harder
of
to disguise, right, Rob? You can't turn your back really in the corner and then come back out with the.
You cannot. You can't use the fence behind you either, which is another difference that I have noticed. But yeah, look, it's a lot of the players obviously playing in the tournament from Australia come from a tennis background, so it's a nice little adjustment to see them play against people that have been brought up in the sport of paddle rather than making the transition.
That's true, Rob. I think there's not one player in the history of Australian paddle that's come straight from paddle yet. We're too old a nation, we're too young a nation, unfortunately. Old in age, but young in experience. I guess my kids may be on the chopping block first to be that way, and get young Tom into it potentially there as well.
Absolutely, I'm working on it. I'm having very little success, but it's maybe something down the track that we can look for. Well, great pick up from Max.
Wow.
It's very good defense from
Tom just shielding it. There's a bed charge smash, which is very clean. Lefty, which is hard to defend against. Not many out of cage right-handers know what to do with that ball, but you can't be out of cage anywhere here. So Bjorkman only had one option, which is to block it. But they've dominated straight up here, Rob, haven't they?
They're off to a strong start. 4-1, 2 breaks. It's going to be hard for Sam and Jonas to get back into this first set, but there's plenty of paddle left in it. It's a funny game. It can swing quickly, especially with the golden point. That can really turn things around very fast. And just looking over at some of the other courts, Matty, as well. We've got a great match over on court 1, which is being streamed as well. That'll be on the other YouTube channel at the moment.
That'll be on Match Eye, I think. Is that right, Rob?
It's on the FIP YouTube channel, but it's streamed by Match Eye. So partners of Padel Australia doing a great job there. And we've got the winners from Sydney, the Spanish pair, against an extremely talented French pair. And it looks like we're at 6-5 in the first set over there. So on serve and very tight. There's some great quarterfinals going on at the moment.
Can't see the score right adjacent to us. We have another court going off here. Rob, any idea what the score is right behind us here? Thanks, mate. We've got Pedro and Sergio, nicknamed Bembo, who are finalists from Sydney, taking on the younger Spanish pair who have just...
Well, they've just come out for Melbourne, haven't they? They didn't play Sydney, which is a little bit surprising that they'd come out just for the one event. But Robert and Victor, an extremely talented pair. They beat Australia's #1 pair, Tim and Andrea, this morning, 6-2, 6-4. I think it was an incredibly high standard match and got tight in the second set, but they're a very talented pair, the Spaniards. They'll be hard to beat.
It's just a different level when you're watching 4 Spaniards on the court, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's just different cadence to the game. What I found too, the ball is slowed down a lot more than you'd expect. It's not all just who can hit the ball harder. It's a lot of touch shots going on, way more than just brute power.
Absolutely.
3-1 to the young, 3-1 this end to the young Spaniards over Pablo, who's a bit injured right now. I think he took a bit of his back took a bit of a beating in Sydney.
Yeah, and I think the young pair are the 3rd seed, so they're probably the highest ranked Spanish pair here, which would probably indicate they are one of the strongest pairs here. Very, very impressive from what we've seen so far from them.
Back live here. There's that flick from Jonas. What a return.
Lovely
He's very brave on that. It's not easy to do, Rob.
It isn't. It isn't. Jonas was he was renowned for his return on the tennis court as well. He used to take it very early in exceptional hands, and you can see it's translated to his paddle game.
Ooh, funny you say that. Paddy Ralph this morning was chatting about Jonas's return. He said, you just don't ever serve to his backhand. You just don't do it. There's no point, and it's going to set you back. And I feel like he's transitioned that across to his Padel career now. On the stretch, you can flick it back behind him. Here we go here again. That's a lovely clean middle ball. Clean again. Just drives it through. This is where Jonas wants to be in the middle of all that. Any excuse he can give himself to get onto the top of that net. Take on Dom and the golden wrist. I've got a feeling he's going more at Dom right now than the golden wrist.
He is a little bit at the moment. It's interesting to see
trying to unsettle him maybe.
Yeah, the way the tactics are unfurling. They seem to be trying to play a little bit more through the middle now, but it's it's been a strong start from the Aussie Finnish duo. They're off to a flyer here. So it'd be good to see how Jonas and Sam try and get back into it. They're definitely fighters. They gutsed it out against Pat and Marius earlier. They looked like they were in all sorts of trouble.
Haven't quite heard Dom get up yet for a let's go or a come on. Takes a little bit to get Dom fired up normally. Keeps it to himself.
Does. He's a relaxed man. He
He's
looks half asleep out there, but he's not. We can confirm he's not half asleep. He's playing very well.
He's got all the talent. He's very Spanish in the way he plays it too. Slows it down and really just works the angles. Plays a high percent game and he's got a monster smash, but not bring it out because not necessary at the moment, and there's no point here because you get hurt from it. Wow, Sam had for him an easy ball there. Max took a step back. They're doing the stagger formation, these two, which is pro level stuff where one stays forward and trusts the partner one back. If your partner lets an easy ball slip into the middle there, you get knifed through your feet from your partner. So it's not for the faint-hearted, but Dom and Sam have been doing that sort of formation all the way through the Aussie Padel Tour this year, and did it also in the very successful campaign in Kuwait for the Asia Pacific World Cup qualifiers, where they won all their matches out there. Actually, Rob, they won all their matches, including the UAE match.
It's a great effort to go undefeated. That's as we said earlier, there's some real emerging countries in the region, and a very high level. Egypt and Japan and a few others, as well as obviously the UAE team with their Spanish-born players. It was an extremely high level, and yeah, Sam and Dom going through undefeated is phenomenal, and shows that they're a bit of a force to be reckoned with.
I can only imagine with Dom training for 3 or 6 months over there in Spain. It's a long way across for us to see the Spanish, as you mentioned. That's why it's great having the talent showcased here for this event. It's 24 hours flight to get over here from anywhere in Europe, pretty much. So it's lovely to see. Oh, there's the wrist again.
Yep. So I'm trying to turn the corner, couldn't quite get there. Jonas he's pumped. That's a good sign.
It is a good sign. He's not giving this up, that's for sure. He's come a long way with his son.
He has, and
just
great effort as well. Jonas, 53 years of age. He's played a 3-hour match this morning. He looks as fresh as a daisy. I've played about a 15-minute match, and I'm ready for a lie down. But he's a fit man, Jonas.
I'll get you a blankie after this, Rob. It's fine.
That'd be nice.
How did you go in your match? You took on the winners of Sydney in your match, was it?
No, they weren't the
sorry.
winners at Sydney, but they're a very good Spanish pair, and we ended up finishing second in that one, Matt.
Gave him a run for the money in the first set, though, didn't you?
No,
Mate?
we hung around for a little bit, but there was a pretty clear difference in class there, and good experience for myself just to play against someone at that level is yeah, you don't get to do that too often in Melbourne. Padel's improving here. It's still very new to the city, but certainly don't get to see pairs like Paul and Edouard that we went up against this morning. It was a bit of a masterclass for us, and nice just to be out there for a little while and yeah, be able to hang with them for a bit of a set was probably all we wanted from it.
I feel like you're being a bit humble there, mate, because Paul Asina, I think, was a number 1, not far along ago either, with Edu as well. I think #1 player in Catalonia, which is no small feat. That's basically half of Spain in regards to the paddle talent. If you split the country up between Madrid and Barcelona for the purpose of Padel, being the #1 guy there is a pretty big accolade, and his defence is off the hook, isn't it? It really is a nightmare to try and penetrate through that. The harder you hit it, the more it comes back at you.
Yeah, it's very hard to know what to do. It's yeah,
there's just no shot you can hit that isn't going to phase him, is there really?
There isn't. No. We sort of we tried a few things and nothing worked that well, but it's probably just trying to keep varying it and hope you get the opportunity to hit the portraits out of the court. Because they can't run out. I think if they had the option to run out, that would be equally as unsuccessful. Because he did run out after a few and not have too much trouble with it, but fortunately we managed to keep a couple of those points. So
had to Phil, the traffic cop, pull him up, referee.
Absolutely, Phil doing a great job out here. The Tennis Australia ref, he's embraced paddle.
He has, and Phil actually took on my spare second racket and gave it a hit, the same racket Dom's actually using right now, and he actually hits the ball very, very well.
I'm not surprised. He's got that bit of a glint in his eye, Phil. He looks as though he knows his way around a court and around a racket. So that was in the tiebreak shootout. So we do something a little bit different here in Melbourne. We started it last year with our first FIP event, and ran it over to this year as well, and did on the Thursday night after the qualifying finish, did a tiebreak shootout, which is a bit of a unique event. You play basically a knockout tournament and play one tiebreak, and the winners move on and the losers are out. But a bit of a twist as well with the
handicap system
and yeah, female and mixed pairs competing against the male pairs and getting a little bit of a head start, and it was pretty entertaining, Matty. We had some good battles out there.
Good matchups. In fact, Amy Gibson, who took the title out in Sydney for the FIP, got to the final, didn't she?
They did.
She
yeah.
did,
So they lost the
talent.
final to Paul and Edouard, the Spanish pair that you were talking about, the Catalonians, which was a great effort, and they had a 3-0 head start in that final and won the first point. So they were up to a 4-0 lead, but the Spanish pair, they just never look flustered. They never look rushed, or there's no panic there. So they reeled them in. I think they got them 7-5 in the final in the end.
Well, not only are they relaxed cats in the first place from Catalonia, they've moved to Bali, so they're even more relaxed now. They really are just cruising around, probably having a couple of bintangs over there and taking it easy. But they've both moved, I think, to Bali full time now, and taken up coaching roles there.
Yeah, pretty challenging lifestyle for the boys, I think, playing paddle all day in beautiful Bali. It's
between surfing and the lovely nightlife they get to experience and the lovely food.
That's it. I think they're probably pretty happy with their position in life at the moment, and so they should be.
Well, they probably deserve it. It's actually there's a big rush on Spanish coaches coming out to Australia, coming out to Bali. It's a lovely place to come. We really appreciate the talent coming over here, because we don't see it initially that often. It was Maddie Thomas. shout out to Matty T, time again. Out here originally as the original coach, came out from England, other country. And then one by one other coaches came out. Pedro, who works in with you here, Robert, Game4PADEL.
Yeah, we've got
With
Pedro,
Ignacio.
who's a very talented Spanish player, and his cousin Ignacio, who they've been a great addition to the club here. The difference in, I guess, coaching level between the local coaches and the Spanish is, there's probably a bit of a gap there at the moment. Obviously got Tony up at the Gold Coast as well, who does an incredible job, captains or coaches our national team. It's starting to, the level is starting to lift a bit. It makes a big difference. You can see not just the level of the best players at the club, but also the level of the whole club, the beginners, the intermediates. It really picks it up. So
It does.
it's great having the Spanish boys here.
And Rob, the styles is different too, isn't it? When you've got Spaniards teaching you how to play real padel, not tennis paddle, if you like, which is what our coaches would come from tennis all the way through. The Spanish coaches come from paddle at a young age, so it's a very different game and different temperament.
It is.
Although paddle's getting faster and faster now, and you could say Pedro is a new school coach in terms of taking a few more half volleys or volleys out of the air, rather than just relying on the double formation all the time.
Yeah, he is. He's the bigger hitting, the newer game, and he can definitely translate that across. But yeah, it's an amazing style of coaching. It all sounds so simple when they say it, and you feel a bit stupid for not realising it earlier. But it's for a lot of us coming from different sports, whether it be tennis or squash or other racket sports. Just those little things that you don't think of. I guess some of the better players in Australia probably do the hard stuff well, but don't do the basics well, and that's what you need to learn.
More lobs, I say, Rob, as you know.
Well, you are renowned for being the lobster. That's been your nickname throughout your career here, and there aren't too many that do it better than you, Matty. I've got to say, you're still at the top of the tree there.
No one else trains it, Rob. I'm the only guy in the country that trains lobs. I've never walked into a lesson on lobbing before, ever in the history of any coaching in this country. Have you ever seen a lobbing lesson?
Well, I
Just
have.
one?
I don't think I have, and there are rumours that you do have a ball machine and you just get out there and practice the lob for 6 to 7 hours a day on your lovely court at your house in Byron Bay. But it's paying off though.
Oh, thanks, Rob. There's a Gordon. Oh, wow.
Great hands from Salmon. Oh, unlucky.
He's missed it. Just really slaps that forehand volley, doesn't he, Max?
He does, but good hold in the first game there from Jonas and Sam. They got to keep the pressure on a little bit here. You don't want to let Dom and the Golden Wrist get away from you again. They got the jump on him in the first set and just couldn't be reeled in. So I think probably the important thing for Jonas and Sam, just really focus on holding serve, keeping the pressure on and keeping their nose in front here for the second set. And you keep that nose in front, you get to 4-3, 5-4, and anything can happen.
I think Sam's got to really take a few more risks here. With these two on the net, it's just Dom's just so stable there. I thought that was wide, personally.
This is going to be interesting. They've played on. It did look like there was a bit of cage.
That's all right. Who are we to argue? We can't be commentators and referees.
Well,
Rob?
Absolutely, and also I'm a little bit short-sighted, so probably not the person you want to ask. But everyone kept going, so obviously did catch the glass. And
that's a great return from Sammy.
getting interested. Is this 30 all now? I think so. This is a big point now for Jonas and Sam.
I want to see Jonas take a bit of risk here and flick that down the line. No. Dom just really slows it down the entire time at the moment. It's working well for him. He's not knifing anything at all.
No, he's playing at a really... Oh, there's a bit of lack of understanding from the pair that hasn't played together, but they've got the break point here. So probably for the first time in this match, they got the opportunity to get their noses in front. And
here we go, fans at home. This could be the... Got one of the older ladies of the community coming past from Perth, Emily. She's a regular in the 55 plus division. Oh,
good pick up from Jonas. They're
great
in it.
pick up.
That's a good
Great lob from Sammy. Let's go put some energy in this. Here we go. And that's good night.
And
That is good
out.
night.
There we go.
Look at that. That's a bit of energy there injected into it.
That's,
I'm pepped up a bit, Rob. I don't know about you.
Well, yes, absolutely, mate. This is
It's
this
just
is good. We want a match here. We haven't, you know, as the commentary team, we don't play favourites, Matty, but we do want a good match. I'd love to see a 3-setter out here again. And no, good break from Jonas and Sam. They really needed that one. They need to get their noses in front. Dom and Max have been
dominant.
really controlling things.
See how they respond now. The golden wrist and Picasso Berchard. That's a nice little touch from Sammy there. He did a few drop shots in the previous match actually against Paddy Rafter that stuck, 4 or 5 of them actually.
He's got a good drop shot, Sam. It's hard to read. He really holds it to the last second.
Don't think that one go. Oh wow.
Just out. So there.
Look at Jonas. He really can sniff. He can sniff. If anyone can sniff an opportunity, it's Jonas Bjorkman, isn't it, Rob? No,
Absolutely.
He's done this a billion times. This is not. Can you imagine how many matches he's played over the years, from club championships to this to that in tennis and in padel? It's been a 13-year journey in padel, let alone a 30-year journey in tennis.
It's very true, mate. The good players just know when the moment is, and it makes a very big difference.
He's leading from the front here too.
He is. He's picked up the energy, and he's picked up his game. So, yeah, 40 love. Good start to the set for Jonas and Sam.
I can see why they're debating who's going to take the smash right now. Jonas just feel like he's in a bit of a groove at the moment.
He does, and he obviously plays quite a bit on the left as well. Jonas, he's pretty comfortable on both sides. No favourites. So yeah, has got a big smash as well.
He's the rumour is it's a real treat for the fans. He's going to get back together with his Grand Slam champion partner, Paddy Rafter, for the Red Bull Rally, which is coming out at the Australian Open. So
is that an exclusive? Is that breaking news?
That could be breaking news.
That's
it could be breaking news, I think, Rob. The Red Bull Rally. The rumour is they're going to play together, and that will be incredible from a fan perspective. Getting out there at the tennis, at the AO, watching, wind back the clock, watching Paddy Rafter and Jonas Bjorkman 26 years after they won at that same Melbourne Park to get together in a game of doubles, and a real competition too, a proper competition.
Absolutely.
You've got the best players remaining from the Australian Padel Open, the Melbourne Padel Open, will be there in action, battling it out. 4 teams, women's and men's, in sort of an exhibition/tournament structure. I think will be round robin, so you'll play each other on the Saturday, and this is next weekend. So I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It is
next week.
3-day event, and it's going to be fantastic. They've set the court up in the new top court area, which sounds like a fantastic space. They've got some pop tennis and basketball and a bit of gaming going on there. Pickle, I believe, is in a slightly different area, but it'll be there as well. And they have got the big
Pickle tournament, right, Rob?
Pickleball Slam on the last weekend of the AO. So yeah, definitely branching out, which is happening around the world quite a bit. The new emerging racket sports are being adopted a bit by tennis, which is great. It's more opportunities for people to get outdoors, get active, play a racket sport. We're probably a little bit biased, I would have thought, Matty, and want to see as many people playing paddle as possible. But really good to see all of the emerging sports get a turn.
Just have to look, Rob, at the probably half the federations in the world are paddle federations emerged in with tennis in the first place. So it's a pretty much 50-50 whether it's a standalone federation for paddle in your country or whether it's 100 countries out there now that have paddle officially as a sport, a governed sport out there. In Australia, of course, Tennis Australia, the governing body now of paddle, which means we have big events like this at the Aussie Open. So it definitely helps from a marketing perspective. prize money perspective and exposure perspective. It's why you've got Jonas Bjorkman out here right now, and Paddy Rafter being involved in the sport as an ambassador of Padel Australia as well. Coming from tennis, obviously, it seems to make a good blend of the two sports, and that in Australia would be 100% of our 100% of our players would have come from tennis in the first place, as we mentioned before, the high-level players anyway.
For sure, yeah, no, it's good. And you even see some of the federations, like in Italy having really embraced paddle. I think there's something like 10,000 paddle courts in Italy now, and they're coming under the Italian Tennis Federation, and I believe they've even changed their name to Tennis and Paddle, which is a big step for the Italians. And yeah, the growth of the sport is pretty dynamic. So we got 40-15 here. Dom serving. So 3-love start to Jonas and Sam. Dom looking to keep them in this set.
Great volley there from Jonas. He's just on fire right now. He's got his nose in front in this set, and they're not going to give it back easily. I can really see the energy shift over there. Dom's looking a little bit frustrated with Max right now. Why wouldn't you be? Is that 3-love down, right?
It is 3-love, so we've got 40-30 this game. So they're looking at a game point here, one they really need. I think if Jonas and Sam can pinch this one and go to a golden point, it'll be very interesting. Good pick up from Jonas, pushing Dom back. Just missing that one, Max. He hasn't missed too many of those, but this definitely getting interesting now. So we got golden point. Let's see who wants to take it. Okay, Jonas putting the hand up. Matty, no surprises there. He wants this. Here we go. Good serve from Dom. Yeah, great serve.
Oh, wow.
Very low. That was a big point.
Slowed it down too, Rob. So just dropped off the back glass there. Clever from Dom.
Big point. 4-0 is, you're pretty much riding off the set, I would have thought, at 4-0 down, but only one break still. So this is, yeah, getting interesting.
How's Sam respond here? Do you think he injects himself back into the game? A bit more energy, a bit more crossing, or?
Look, I think he's pretty happy with how his partner's going about things at the moment. It's Jonas has really lifted this set. Sammy's playing more of the solid role, I guess, probably more of what your traditional right side player would do, and letting Jonas cook.
It's well put, mate. He's the chef in the kitchen right now. I get it. Makes sense.
It'd be good. We might have to get an update for the audience at some stage. I think we're going viral at the moment, Matty. I think there's about 7 people tuning in, which is a
big number.
Probably was 7 at the start. Might be less with our commentary, but it'd be good to hear how Jonas' son Max is going. He's on at the moment, playing against the Spanish pair with his partner, a 17-year-old Victor Forsberg, who certainly doesn't look 17. He's about 6'8", but he's a big Scandinavian unit, Victor. But they had a great win this morning over the second seeds, and they're in action at the moment against the Spanish. So we might have to try and grab an update at some stage there.
I might ask Rob if he can nip across there. Maybe can you see on court 1 over there what's going on, Rob?
Well, the Spanish got the first, so that was
7-6, wasn't
Guillem and Joel, I think.
Yep.
The winning pair from Sydney, they got it in a breaker against the French pair, who are very exciting, very good to watch, a lefty-righty combination.
It's a lovely looking shot from Max.
Well played, good touch from Sam there. Nice weight on the shot, and they go ahead 40-30. That was a big point. They want to keep their nose in front the guys. They've got to keep holding serve and keeping the pressure on. Dom and Max certainly aren't done with this set. You know, they're capable of a break at any time.
Gee, it's hard to put the ball past Jonas, isn't it? He's just everywhere.
Certainly is. That's great hands.
And he's fired up, I think, now.
He is. He's closing on the net really well, and you'd probably be looking at maybe using the lob a little bit more, keeping it away from Jonas's volleys. He's stepped up. He's been the difference this set, which, again, incredibly impressive. 53 years old. Yeah, obviously in great nick. The life's good over there in Sweden. He keeps in good shape. He keeps out on the tennis court a lot. He works with a lot of the best Swedish tennis players, so he's kept himself in good shape. But yeah, phenomenal effort to be competing at this level.
He came straight from the Maldives, Rob, so he's probably had a nice little rest too.
So
Wow, good update. Is a breaking news there from the other co-commentator coming hot off the first match, the ladies' match before. What was that again?
6-4.
Max.
So the Swedes have got the first set 6-4. So Max and Victor won the first set 6-4 against the Spanish pair, and we're at 2-2 in the second. So exciting match over there on court 3, show court 3. And
Could this Bjorkman train continue?
we
here
could be
in
in
Australia?
for an all Bjorkman final if things continue in this
Wow.
way, which would be pretty unheard of. I would have thought there wouldn't be too many father-son finals on the World Padel Tour.
That would be a
Just
world
yet.
record, I'd imagine. I can't.
Semi-finals even would be phenomenal. So that's a good result. The young Swedes they've really stepped up. Obviously they struggled a little bit in Sydney. They were pretty fresh off the plane, but didn't quite get going. Had I guess what you'd call not a great loss for them, not a great match. But they arrived in Melbourne early. They've been here pretty much as soon as they were done with Sydney. They came down and met up with Jonas, who, as you mentioned, came across from the Maldives, doing it tough. And they've been working hard, so got acclimatised, and they've looks like they've got the jump on a few of the pairs.
It's a big deal coming here, though, out of the cold in Sweden, to be honest. Dead of winter over there. Not much sun. Bumping into the Golden Wrist and Dom in the first round of the first tournament, right off the plane. So it's a bit of a, and also it was outside, wind was hurling, it was hot. It was absolutely different conditions to what they're used to.
For sure, yeah, that's a big adjustment. So we got 30-15 here, or 40-15 now. Dom changing directions on that last match, which is a bit of a good tactic. He's been using the rouleau a lot, which is obviously the topspin, slower topspin smash into the cage. Starting to change it up just a little bit, which might be smart. Oh, Jonas, good pick up.
Wow, he moves well.
He does. Good finish from Max though. So 4-2, still just the one break, so the pressure's still on a little bit. Jonas and Sammy can't take a misstep here. Dom and Max are keeping the pressure on.
I've got a commentary favourite also, Timmy, popping in now to give a bit of an update on some of the other courts going on. Timmy, heard the Swedes are doing okay, took the first set over there. What's happening in the French? Spanish took the first set. The winners from Sydney took the first set. They've dyed their hair blonde after the victory in Sydney, which makes them distinctive and easy to figure out. They're up 7-6, 4-3 on serve second set. And then what's happening here behind us, Timmy? Not Pablo, tall Pablo.
Oh yeah, we
Lower
have got
back.
a lower back strain there.
Had that in Sydney. Yeah, right, okay. This could be it for Pablo.
He's looking a bit ginger.
Yeah, he had that in Sydney too and played through it in the final actually. That came a cropper with that injury. Troop it on. The live back here now.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Just off the cage there, Rob, was it?
It
Thought
was,
clipped
yeah.
some glass, but not to be.
Clip the cage. So we've got 40 love here. Jonas serving, and they needed a good game here. This will take them to 5-2 in front, and still only the one break though. So still a bit of paddle left in this one. Good hand, Sammy.
Saw that coming as his previous partner in crime. Sammy going for the drop shot again.
That's out of there. Well played.
Great play from Sammy. Very patient, Rob, with that. Could have banged that a few points ago, a few shots ago, but held in and worked around the court a bit. Wow, this is interesting now. We thought this was, as always, things move so fast. The guys are right back in the box seat here and going in momentum potentially for the third set.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a bit of a turn from the first set, but like we said, it can happen quickly in paddle. It's one of the beauties of the game. You don't have the big serve from tennis, so it's every point's live and the game can swing quickly.
Good enough. Max Bjorkman serving. 3-2 up in the break. We've got round the grounds here, Rob Gaylor. That's fantastic, Rob. Thank you.
He's doing a great job. He is doing the scoreboard in between games. He's sprinting to the other 3 courts just to get us an update. He hasn't bought Matt and I a drink yet. We're a little bit parched in the commentary box, but he's doing a good job nonetheless.
Uber Eats. I got a roasting from Pat Raft earlier on for being a vegan live on air amongst the 26 listeners. Wasn't perfect, but that's okay.
No, Pat, I believe, has 3 to 4 pieces of steak for every meal.
He does, but he's got 2 vegan brothers too, so I find myself in good company at the family dinner table there, and in the Rafter household. They all definitely take the piss out of each other, that's for sure. Wow, what a pickup from Sammy.
Oh,
stop it, Jonas, just stop it.
Good flicks.
Wow, it's unbelievable hustling from Jonas Bjorkman, jogging around to show his superiority fitness-wise in the court.
You'd almost call that strutting, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Matty, it's
peacocking potentially.
There's a bit of strut about it. It's very impressive.
It is Bjorkman Day in Sweden, all of Sweden, Stockholm, Gothenburg. Everyone got the memo earlier this morning. If you're waking up now in Sweden, probably.
You're getting close to the.
It would be.
It's morning time, National Bjorkman Day. It'll be a good day for them moving forwards. I think the 11th of January. It'll be something for them to celebrate. Pretty cold and dark over there in Stockholm at the moment, I would have thought.
I reckon the sun comes out at about 1:13 till about 2:26 today, I reckon.
Yeah,
on Bjorkman Day.
No, that's
PM, I should say.
It's they'd be enjoying their time in Melbourne, I would have thought. They're getting out on court, father and son, and competing at the highest level. It's super impressive.
Imagine doing a victory lap not only at the Melbourne Padel Open, Rob, then going to the Australian Tennis Open and doing another victory lap that he banked 26 years ago.
It's impressive.
Could be a double Grand Slam champion. This could be something for the books here and now, history books.
Absolutely. So good hold there from Dom and Max. That was an important one. They want to keep the pressure on here, but nice serve from Sammy to start. So we've got 15 love, 5-3. We'll see if Dom and Max can apply a little bit of pressure, and we'll see what Jonas and Sam are made of. Oh,
wow.
Look at that.
There's the wrist in action again, Rob.
That is the wrist.
Absolutely flicked at the moment.
Not sure. We may need to get that wrist tested. I'm not sure if there's. It's completely legal, that wrist. It's it's phenomenal.
Oh, Sam with the droppy again.
Great pickup from Dom.
He's quick, isn't he? Oh, wow.
So that's good.
Wow. That's an unbelievable. What was that shot? Hook? Was it a sky hook, Rob?
It was a bit of a sky hook, yeah. A bit of a roundhouse there. That's an amazing shot on a big point.
Bit of Pat Rafter in that top spin sky hook move there. I think Tim called it the sky hook before, Timmy Lanyon.
Good.
Wow.
Here we
Fortune
go.
favours the brave, they say, and Jonas is now jumping up and down in his box and jumping out of the box and on the box. He's absolutely up and running out there at the moment, up and about.
It's a 30 all. Oh, No, it must have been 40-15, and there we go.
That's the set, I think, Rob, is it?
That is the set. We got one set all here.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. They're giving us what we want here in the commentary box, Rob.
They certainly are. They're giving the crowd what they want, which is another set of us rambling on.
And Bjorkman magic in the meantime. I might take a quick look over on court 2 if you want to entertain the crowd for a bit. And I'll, Bjorkman court, as we now call it, the other Bjorkman court.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a quick look at the scoring out there. I'll be back in a second.
Fantastic. Bit of an around the grounds. That'd be great. We might take a little break here just for 2 minutes, and then we'll be coming back to you with the third set. Very exciting.
This break sponsored to you by the Nomadic, an emerging band in Australia that Rob Gaylord happens to head up. Rob, if you want to do a bit of rapping in the background, feel free to do so. Sure. On hold music. Melody, you want to pop in, Rob, please? You ready? Why not?
Okay, we're back in action here for the third set. Didn't take too long a break there. I thought maybe Jonas might stall a little bit, take a bit of time, but he's obviously feeling very fresh. So, and off to a good start. We've got Love 30. And Love 40. So 3 break points to start the third set for Jonas and Sam. Very strong start. Jonas playing some incredible paddle at the moment. Really has really stepped up after that first set. Max serving down Love 40. And the missed volley from Dom. Obviously feeling the pressure just a little bit, and we've got a breaker serve to start the third set. Jonas and Sam going up 1 love. Sam Ashenden to serve. And nice shot from Max. Putting the pressure on, so we got Love 15. It's dropped in, good pick up from Jonas. Lovely smash from Max. So Love 30. So all of the points going against the server at the start of the third set. Obviously, players just feeling a little bit of pressure. Although Sam and Jonas do look very relaxed out there. Sam's always smiling on the court. that's why. You got a big smash, you're always happy. So we got 15-30. Not quite sure what's happened to my co-commentator here. He's gone missing in action. I think he's having a bit of a look at the other matches at the moment. Big point here. It's a good lob from Dom. Great close, Max. And there, that's a very good point. That's a big point. That's what they've been looking for the last set. It wasn't quite there. They weren't able to take control of the points as much as they did in the first set. Jonas and Sam definitely stayed in charge, but big opportunity here. We got 15-40. 2 break points. Oh, great hands from Jonas. It was good touch from Dom. He closed in, but Jonas was able to find the gap and great weight off the back glass. 30-40. Sam with the fake. Good lob from Dom. Great touch, Sam. Oh, good pick up, Max. Oh, great point. Fantastic paddle. And I've being joined now by Rob. We got 2 Robs in the commentary box.
Just to confuse things, stepping in for the great Matt Burrell,
Who has just completely gone missing in action, Rob.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, you know, he's a man in high demand, right? So I've no doubt, you know, he's been asked to sort of attend to some urgent duties elsewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Bringing back multitasking.
No,
bringing
he's
back into fashion.
He's a networker. There's no doubt about it. Any opportunity to network, and he is all over it. But we've got a cracker here, Rob. We got 1-all, 2 breaks to serve to start the 3rd set. It's hard to know which way this one's going to go.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you saw any early psychological signs for either side, but I would agree, a bit hard to tell so far.
Yeah, probably both just feeling things out a little bit at the moment. They're definitely the pair that's been the more aggressive has felt like they've been on top in the game. But at the moment, just a slower start to the 3rd set. 2 breaks to serve.
Oh, fantastic there from Sam. We're getting a lot of angle on that drive, and again,
Excellent.
a couple of really acute angles from Sam there. Tough to defend those. I'm not sure even you would have got that back, Rob.
I'm pretty confident I wouldn't have, Rob. I think don't think there's much question about that.
You're being a bit modest. I think you would have got close, but right into the cage with spin. Very tough to defend that.
Absolutely. Oh, look at that from Jonas.
Both pairs stepping up the quality now. Very high quality rallies going on.
Dom missing the rule though. He doesn't miss too many of those, Dom. That's probably his best smash, I think. He's very good at finding the cage and throwing a bit of uncertainty for the players trying to get it back. He's very good there. So we've got 2 break points again.
Both sides struggling to hold their serve early in the deciding set.
Good dig from Jonas. Oh. That's one way to win it.
A rueful gasp there from Jonas as he receives the full brunt of Max's smash into the feet. Everyone laughing, even Jonas.
I think that's might be a new tactic that Max is bringing in. If you can't get it out of the court, hit it at the old man.
High quality from both pairs now. Sam sending that one
Just
wide.
wide. That was a big point. So coming back from 15-40, we've got a golden point here. We'll see who wants to take it.
Sam.
And
Yeah,
Sam.
Sam looking confident, asking to take this one.
It does add a real element to paddle, Rob, the golden
point.
points. It's I quite like it. There's people that are obviously for it and against it. but it's does make it exciting, that's for sure.
High quality rally here again. Both sides. Matt Burrell is back, so I'll hand back after this point. Golden point.
Back from his networking. Be good to see what developments he's got to report on. Huge point.
Ooh.
That's dropped in.
Wow. High quality rally here on the golden point.
Jammed.
Ashton take it.
Right up against the glass.
2-1.
Dom couldn't dig it out, so we've had 3 breaks to serve.
Okay. Matt will be back in a sec. What do you feel, Rob, the merits are of the one long, you know, rather than just the golden point, the one long, one short compromise?
Well, I think that's
what are
something
the pros and cons of that?
we've probably adopted that a little bit in Australia. I don't think it's done anywhere else. I think the argument for it is probably the argument against it, and that it's somewhere in the middle of what everyone else is doing. So
yep.
I do like it. Probably takes a little bit of the pressure off on that first point, and then you do get that pressure point when it does go to a golden. But obviously, FIP for their world tour for this level. So from bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, they play the golden point. But on the Premier Padel Tour, they play the long juice, the advantage. So look, I think there's arguments for it and against it. I think certainly makes it exciting though with the golden point in there.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's going to take obviously a little bit more time if you play one normal juice and then one golden. So in a tournament, you know, if you multiply that by, I don't know, 50, it is going to add a time factor, correct?
Yeah, having run a few of these tournaments, it as a tournament director, you love the golden point. You can definitely helps with scheduling and getting through the matches on time. As a player, you tend to love it when you win them, and not be as fond of it when you lose them. So
we were just talking about this earlier in commentary with Lex. Do you think the better players would tend to shade the golden points, or not necessarily?
Look, I think the better players in the balance. If you're the better team, you tend to win them. You win the majority.
Yeah.
I think there's.
So I can't just complain about my bad luck, Rob, can I really?
No, I think that's probably going to fall on deaf ears, Rob. I think it's probably something that we don't, as amateurs, I guess, tend to practice. And I think when we play here a lot down at the beautiful Docklands Club, we do tend to play the long juice all the time, and then you get to a tournament and it's a little bit different. So we probably should take things a bit more seriously and actually practice the way we're gonna play in tournaments.
Do you feel there are there parallels with other sport, like, you know, the soccer penalty shootout, where you'd actually practice how you'd play a golden point?
Absolutely. I think it's important. I think I tend to like picking one person to take it every time as the returning team when you've got the choice, obviously. That might change depending on your opponent and how they serve and where they serve, but I think it's good for one person to get the rhythm and to keep playing that golden point each time. Obviously people do it differently and mix it up. Personally I like my partner to take it every time, Rob, because then I've got someone to blame.
Exactly. Get that excuse in. And what about when you're serving on the golden point?
Look, I think that's probably I guess it's a bit more on your racket. You don't get the choice of where to serve, but it's a pretty normal point. When you're serving, you just got to play your game, and obviously you, as the server, get control of the net, and you've got to try and do everything you can to hold that net.
Yep. Sam and Jonas now up to a little bit of a 30-15, a rare lead on serve in the third set. So we might be starting to see the set shift back towards points on serve. Interesting that there were 3 early breaks. Would you put that down to nerves or any other particular factor, or just an anomaly?
It could be. I guess it's a bit more of an anomaly. Definitely not the same advantage, obviously, serving in paddle. It's there's some players and some pairs here that are just phenomenal on the return, and it's hard to keep the advantage when you are serving.
Yep.
But it is interesting. You normally don't see 3 in a row, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And 30 all here, so a little bit of pressure on Jonas as well.
There's that old adage of when you're returning, aim to get to the fourth shot on the rally, and then it's roughly 50-50, right? If you can sort of get the rally going as a defensive, as a returning team.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Easier said than done sometimes. Now Dom's called that out, but Sam's pretty confident that was in, that lob down the line. Very confident.
Yes,
Dom equally confident that he thought that was out. And he felt that the wind had just taken it out. Sam arguing the opposite, that the wind had probably brought it in. So, old friends with a different opinion.
That's very diplomatically put there, Rob. That's well done. We do have Phil, the referee, was hovering around the back. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but looks like they're going with players' call.
They might be going to repeat it.
Oh, they're playing it again?
I think they're repeating
okay.
it. Yep.
Agree to disagree.
Yep. Sometimes that's the only way forward. Both be very keen, obviously, to win this point. And Sam has sent it effectively into the cage. Customary smile of Sam there.
It's a great smash under pressure. Obviously, you got the lucky bounce, but if you're putting it into the cage, that's the opportunity you're giving yourself.
With a bit of spin, right? A little bit of spin on that one.
Oh, great pick. Oh, that is amazing.
And incredible from Jonas Bjorkman. I don't know how he got that one back.
And he's kept a minute
to win the game. Just an incredible defensive shot. I don't know quite exactly how he got it.
Amazing. So there we go. First pair to hold serve.
Do you want me to sit there? I'll move over.
Bit of behind the scenes there for our audience. We're in an unusual commentary position here because of the absence of Matt Burrell, who is the lead commentator and has gone missing. Good hands from Max Chauvel. I think they're going to have to try and lift the intensity a bit here. They've lapsed a little bit. Jonas and Sam have really taken control of the match.
Yep.
They need to find something.
Ooh, a little drop shot from Sam there, but not really a bit of a high risk shot there, but it's worked well for him in the match, so felt fully justified to go for it, of course. Switching around in the commentary team. No plan survives contact with reality, as they say, Rob, so we're being flexible, or as Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So we're showing a bit of flexibility. We've changed positions, got the score going, and Bjorkman Ashenden off to an early 3-1 lead.
And it looks like we've had a couple of matches finish as well on courts 1 and 4. Looks like the pair that won Sydney, Figueroa and Palos, have won 7-6, 7-6. So a super close competitive match against the unseeded French pair. And I would say that we've had Vincent Turcheka and Robbie, whose surname eludes me at the moment, but they've closed things out on court 4. So they were the number 3 seeds from Spain, playing against the other Spanish pair who made the final of Sydney, and it looks like they're through to the semi-finals tomorrow.
Shaping up as a pretty epic day tomorrow, Rob.
Absolutely.
Semis and finals.
Semis and finals in one day. We've got the back-to-back double matches, so it's a pretty big workload for the players when you're playing at this level.
A couple of them as well, I think, seem to be playing through some injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you play back-to-back tournaments like this, one week after another, it's sort of inevitable that you're going to be dealing with some sort of a niggle or injury. So maybe that gives us the indication that the Spanish pair, Rob Belmont and Vincent Turcheka, who are coming in fresh to Melbourne, might have a little bit of an advantage. A little bit of fresh legs, maybe.
How do you see the third set shaping up? Rob has still got the break for Bjorkman Ashenden, but Dom and Max did a good job to hold there for 3-2. So they're still right in it.
Absolutely, just one break. I think there's plenty to come here. There's been a few shifts of momentum, and it wouldn't surprise me if we get another one. But look, Jonas and Sam have definitely stepped up. They've taken control of the net. Jonas's hands have been pretty special to watch. They're definitely in control, but look, lots to go here.
Another high-quality rally here in the 6th game of the 3rd set. Both teams vying for the dominance of the net. A classic Jonas Bjorkman smash. Dom Bouchard with the big smash as well. And it's
Great
enough
smash
to put too much pressure on Jonas Bjorkman there. I think he touched the net, and he also didn't connect with the ball close to the net there. So that's love 15 on Sam's serve.
Yeah, that was a lovely smash from Dom. It's a hard court to do the portraits here, Rob. It's hard to get out in Melbourne. We're very lucky here in Docklands to have a big roof over the top, but I guess the flip side to that is that we never get the sun hitting the courts.
Yep.
So it plays a lot slower than the courts up in Sydney and probably the rest of the courts around the country and internationally as well. So it's a slow court, which makes for good strategic paddle, which is nice to watch, but definitely a little bit harder to lift the ball out.
Particularly as the balls get a bit fluffy and old, right? It gets a bit harder and harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keeping an eye on the psychology here. Max sort of gave a bit of a rueful sigh after that last point. Trying to inch their way back into this set. And it's
Well, they're skating on thin ice, aren't they? That's a beautiful shot. Great hands.
yeah, great hands from Max at the net there.
Yeah.
And I believe that's 15-40, so they do have an opportunity here. There's a bit of a smile from Sam and from Dom and Max. They'll be looking to just inject a little bit more positive energy because the game has so far been drifting away from them, but they're on the verge of getting back into this if they can break in this game.
3 chances.
Max will take this. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, that is a wonderful shot.
Absolutely fantastic.
Smiles all round.
Yes. Don't even know how to describe that. That was probably a Vibora smash or something.
It was, yeah. It
Just
was
a very effective.
It was beautifully placed. Didn't get up much off the glass, and there's the break. So we're at 3-all. We've got another absolute cracker here.
Wow.
Rob, we've been spoiled with the
Something about this court.
There is. The men's matches today have been very close. The ladies maybe a little bit more
so close.
one-sided,
Yeah.
but some good paddle nonetheless.
Oh.
A bit of
yeah.
Bit of a momentum shift maybe here. Dom and Max starting to look a little bit up and about.
Yeah. Some very positive body language, and Jonas just sort of throwing his head up there with exasperation, really. Dom jumping in, popping it out on the 3rd shot of that rally. Not much you can do about that pop-out, is there, Rob?
No, not at all. He's a good athlete, Dom. He like we said earlier, he's very relaxed. He looks very casual, but I don't think you can let that fool you. He's a fit man. He's played sport at a high level for a long time, and yeah, very deceptive athlete.
Definitely the best Instagram handle of any paddle player I've come across, Pablo Picasso.
Absolutely.
I do follow him, and
he's worth a follow, Dom.
I
I think.
appreciate his work on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And he is one of my favourite players to watch on the Australian tour for sure.
He does. He's creating a bit of content, and there's some good stuff in there from Dom.
High quality rally here on the 3rd point of this game.
Good defense from Jonas.
Smart play from Max, just sending the ball to the back, varying the pace of the smash, and now with a chance to kill it. And
runs
And
out
he
of
does.
there.
He does kill it with a little bit of a
Just snuck
assistance
over.
from the top of the cage.
It did. Obviously, a little bit easier to pop the ball out and clear the cage when it does come off the back wall. Just the spin that's put on the ball when you boast it up. It does make it a little bit easier to get the ball out, but he only just popped it over, but look, puts him in a good position. 40 love. They've turned the tide a little bit.
Oh, a rare error there from Dom off the third point of that point, sending his volley long for 40-15. Rare error from Jonas Bjorkman. 4-3 now to Dom and Max. I was going to ask you, Rob, can you think of an equivalent sport where there's such a fine line between a winning shot and a shot that gives a clear advantage to the opposition, as the example of the kick smash, which in your case sails beautifully out for a winner, and my case pops up beautifully for you to kill me. Is there an equivalent sport that has such an example? I can't think of.
Well, first of all, you're being a little bit too complimentary there, because it's not a frequent occurrence when mine go out. But it's a very good point, actually. I'm sure there'd be a few out there. I think this obviously going out to a bit of an international audience with paddle, but we have Australian rules football here in Melbourne. That's our big sport. Crowds of 80, 90, 100,000 going to games here, and it's probably something that's happening a little bit in AFL, where when a team plays aggressively and pushes people forward, as soon as the ball's turned over, it really opens up for the opposition. But I think paddle, it's particularly it's one of the, I guess, the beauties of the game, is that ability to, obviously the ball to rebound off the glass, and how you can use that to set yourself up for the next shot. So yeah, it's a good point, and it's a great example of it.
And it also might explain why you can quickly, as the temperature changes and the ball doesn't go out and just comes back for the opposition, how a 6-2 first set can translate into a 2-6 second set and gives rise to these kind of exciting three-set matches that we're seeing.
For sure.
Fantastic.
Lovely
point
close.
there. Yeah.
Sam, very good at closing down the net, as we mentioned earlier. Very, very handy tennis player, still playing at the highest level over in Western Australia, which is a state and a city in Perth that's produced a lot of extremely high-level tennis talent. They play a lot of grass court tennis over in Perth, which is a little bit different to some of the other states in Australia, and Sammy's developed an incredible net game playing all that grass court tennis, and it translates beautifully. Closes the net really well.
It's good to see the grass serve volley tradition alive and well.
Absolutely, and that's I think one of the best things about paddle for some of us more mature players, that it's almost the best elements of tennis that we had growing up, playing on grass courts a fair bit in Australia, and a lot of serve volley. We're traditionally a good serve volley nation, and that's become not completely redundant in tennis, but it's become certainly a lot harder to be effective at it. It's a real power game, and obviously strong ground strokes, two-handed backhands. It's hard to carve your way as a serve volleyer nowadays in tennis, but paddle gives us former tennis players, I guess, the opportunity to do that, and it's almost like you pick the best bits of tennis, the most enjoyable bits of tennis, and get to play a new sport with it.
Certainly good to see a lot of ex-tennis players coming across, helping to raise the standard, I think.
Absolutely. It's an addictive sport for tennis players, that's for sure. It starts off quite easy to play, and you think you're very, very good, and then you realise the more you play that you're not very good, and the sport opens up. It gives you the it's got a wonderful learning curve, which is what makes it so addictive.
Yeah, lucky to have some excellent foreign coaches here as well to show us the way. I think you were mentioning earlier Pedro and Ignacio, and obviously Javi and Pascal, and in Sydney as well. Now I think we're at 4-all now with Max on serve, so this is shaping up to be a classic. First serve from Max hitting the top of the net, second serve in, as you'd expect. Both sides battling for that control of the net.
Just clipping the tape there, Sammy. That shot was on down the middle.
Yeah, quite a rare error, but I like the way, you know, good shot or bad shot, he responds with a smile and moves on to the next point.
He does. The smiling
Excellent
assassin.
Example in, fantastic from Jonas. Almost scooping that out, but just a little wide there with that shot off the back wall.
Couple of Chiquitas from Sam, getting it down at the feet, using the boast. That's a good smash.
Oh, a little unlucky with the bounce there.
Very unlucky.
I think you called it, Rob, a good smash, but with the weather conditions, the slow court and the softening balls, not enough to go out, but the fact that it hit the cage was enough just to sort of provoke a bit of confusion in Sam and force the error.
So 40 love here.
40 love. Yep.
They'd be keen on a quick service game, I think, Dom and Max.
Oh, fantastic.
And that's one way to do it. Look at that. That is a beautiful flick of the wrist from Max.
The classic
flick of the golden
flick
wrist.
Of the golden wrist, yes. That wrist needs to be sponsored by someone if it's not already. Incredible shot. I think I heard you and Matt discussing it. I wonder where he picked up that. Maybe it's a squash, legacy of squash, or is his own invention, or?
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to have a chat to Max after the match and see what his background is. Obviously, 11-time Finnish champion. He's obviously been playing paddle for a long time. He may have started in paddle, but it does have a bit of squash about it. I'm not sure. Well, you'd obviously be aware, Rob, but I'm not sure what the Finnish squash scene is like. What are your thoughts on that?
I must admit, I don't know a lot about it. I imagine there's a bit of a group that plays there, but I don't know if it has a strong culture. Of course, paddle in the Scandinavian countries has really taken off. But I'm just looking at the way he hits it. It does look a bit of a squash motion to me. Wouldn't be at all surprised if he's come from squash, but obviously dedicated himself to paddle at least for the last 10 years, if not longer, from what I can see. But it'd be nice to confirm all that with an interview post-match.
It would. Look, it might even be something a bit more obscure, like ice hockey. Obviously, the Scandinavian countries, it's massive, and that's a very wristy sport. So we'll maybe check in with Max afterwards, depending on who gets the win, and find out a bit more information. But this is a big game now. We got 4-5. There might be some careful play from Sam and Jonas here, and maybe Max and Dom got the opportunity to be a bit more creative. Being
fantastic from Dom. What sort of, if you're in this position, Rob, what are you telling yourself if you're serving 4-5 down for the set?
I think I think you got to stick to the plan. They've been holding serve. There's a bit of an anomaly, I guess, at the start of the match, and a couple of breaks to serve. But it's been on serve for a little while now, and you just got to keep control of that net. That's the key to it, I think, for the guys. They've both got great volleys. Obviously, Jonas, incredible volleys with his tennis career, but you just you need to not make errors. And unfortunately for Sam, he's missed one he normally wouldn't.
Love 30 now, 4-5. Just amazing.
Good pick up.
Here.
This is
High quality rally now. High quality rally. Lob to the back. Dom.
Jonas with the hands.
Max again. High quality lob.
Switching sides. Good shot from Dom. Oh, that's a great defense from Sam, and we reset.
Oh yes, Dom taking that opportunity to create what is effectively 4 match point of potential golden. 4 opportunities now to take the match. No wonder they look happy and high-fiving at the back of the court here. Sam on serve, goes to the glass again. Jonas retrieving.
Oh,
fantastic.
beautiful from Jonas.
Oh, but Dom's got that back somehow. And he sent that long. So that's one match point saved.
Could we have another
15-40.
twist, Rob? There's been a
we
few.
we have to stay neutral, but we do want an exciting match. So let's see.
We're
Let's
here
see
for the
what we
paddle.
get. We're here for the paddle.
Just wide on the serve. Second serve.
Ooh, that's fantastic from Jonas.
Lovely.
Bjorkman.
Right at the toes. Got him behind Max there, and not even he could dig it out with the flick of the wrist. So 2 saved, 2 to go.
On serve now, 30-40, goes to the glass again. Jonas Bjorkman with an incredible smash, but Max down the line, and that's enough. That beautiful backhand down the line is enough to create an opportunity for a 6-4 third set win.
Incredible. And we've got
Congratulations to Dom and Max.
Yeah, big congratulations and great effort from Jonas and Sam as well. That's a very entertaining match. Nice strategic battle that time. Wasn't just pure power, obviously. Look at Matt Burrell out there just getting some content for Padel Australia. Works tirelessly, Matt Burrell. And that, I think, is the third of the quarterfinals from the men's in the bank. And it looks like we still have Max Bjorkman, Jonas's son, in action over on court 3. We can't see that too well from the commentary box, and obviously no footage, unfortunately, of court 3. But I would assume that one's gone to the third, and looks like a good match developing there. So we might even see, Rob, perhaps if we can get one of the winners to have a chat in a second, if you're happy to go through a few questions.
Yeah,
have
sure.
a
So
talk
get 'em
about
over?
their game. I'll get them over for you, mate.
Okay.
And yeah, you know, try and a few probing questions
Yeah.
about their paddle game and their personal life, and we'll see what jewels you can uncover. And
Sure.
and then that'll be it for the day for us.
Yeah.
But look, pleasure chatting with you, mate.
Yes.
Always
Rob
good.
and
It was.
Rob,
I feel as though the
coming to you.
standard of commentary went up a little bit when Matt Burrell left.
Not sure about that.
We might have
not sure about that.
we might have to go to the 7 or 8 strong viewership and get their feedback at some stage. I probably don't want that. I
Yeah.
think the less people
Well, it's a limited focus group, so if it's positive, we'll accept it. But
It
if
is,
it's
and I-
negative, then
and I'm pretty
you know,
sure
we
all
need a
7.
bigger focus group.
I'm pretty sure all 7 are here in the complex at the moment as well. So
And
Um,
maybe about 80% are related to us. So
absolutely.
so therefore, it's probably going to be negative.
No, absolutely. Look, I might see if maybe we've had Dom already in the commentary box, but we might see if Max can
Okay.
jump over for a bit of a chat.
Yeah, cool.
I'll go and grab Max now.
So just to update all the viewers, Dom Bouchard and Max Chauval beat Jonas Bjorkman and Sam Ashenden 2-1, 6-4 in the third set. 3 early breaks in the third set, but then it pretty much on serve. And in the end, Max and Dom just did enough. A little bit tight, but they did enough in the end. And hopefully we'll get one or both of them over to have a bit of a chat with the commentary team. Thanks for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow for the women's and men's semis and final. Yeah, some really high quality paddle on the way for you tomorrow. Thanks for being with us for our coverage.
Do we know who they're going to play now? 2 minutes?
Of course, of course. Yeah. So what's the deal?
No, just asking questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey viewers, welcome back to our coverage. Very lucky to have with us here Max Chauval. I should just check, is that pronunciation correct?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Thanks very much for being with us after your pretty epic match. First of all, congratulations. How does it feel to have got through that tough one?
Thanks. Yeah, it feels good. It was a tough match mentally for us, but we managed to pull it out.
Yeah. You managed to skip. It looked like that you were in control in the first set. Then they fought back hard to take the second one, and then 3 early breaks in the third set. So that was a bit unusual. How was it, the psychology of having them come back and then you guys having to reset? What kind of things did you guys do there to sort of put yourself in a good space?
Yeah, it was. We played the first set really good, both of us, and we were in complete control of the match. And second set started 1-0 down, and we're up 30 love, and we kind of gave away one game, and they just got a break in the second set, and just all of a sudden we're down 0-2 in the second set after playing almost perfect first set. So that was pretty tough mentally, but we tried to grind back in the second, but just couldn't get the break back, and also you don't get new balls to the third set, so the balls are very heavy and slow, so it's very difficult to make any shots right now here. And I don't know, it was just playing every point by point, and just trying to grind it out.
Yeah, fantastic. And tell us a little bit about your background, because I believe you've been #1 in Finland for 8 or 10 years, correct, in paddle? Is that
No,
correct?
I've won 11 Finnish championships.
Wow. Oh, incredible.
I'm not sure what my ranking is.
And have you did you come from a background of squash or tennis, or just paddle?
Yeah, tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis all my junior years, and that's all. I would say almost everybody has a tennis background in Finland who plays paddle on the top level.
But I don't know if you know this, but the commentary team of Rob and Matt Burrell nicknamed you Golden Wrist due to some of your very impressive cross-court flicks. And
they like using that.
In fact, your the match point was not quite a flick, but a lovely drive down the line in your backhand. So where did you get that sort of flicky motion? Is that something you've invented, or came a little bit from your tennis game, or?
Yeah, it's definitely from my tennis game. I use my wrist a lot in tennis, and I play with a really small grip, so it's easy to use the wrist also.
Fantastic. And is this your first time in Australia, or?
Yes, first time.
And what are your impressions so far?
I love it here. It's so nice. I've always wanted to come here, and when Dom invited me a year ago to join him and play this tournament, I thought it's a once in a lifetime experience to finally get to come here to Australia, play some paddle, and see Australia, and also go watch Australian Open, which is the only slam I haven't been to. So that's going to be super nice next week.
Fantastic. And how are you feeling about the games tomorrow, the semi tomorrow?
I feel good. I mean, we played so good the first set, so if we can keep that tomorrow, we for sure have a chance to do some good things. But we have to play as well as in the first set, because after that we didn't reach our top potential.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'll let you go. I know you probably want to have a bit of a rest and recovery, maybe a couple of beers with Dom, hit the local nightclubs. So what do you do to prepare for a semi? Bit of karaoke maybe?
Yeah, let's ask Dom. I'm not sure. Let's see what he makes up for us.
All right, well, thanks for being with us, Max, and wish you all the best for tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. That's awesome. It's really great, that shot. So nice. That flick.